do it like this. So listen, here's what people don't understand. The Ray Rays, the Pookies that women are talking about, that women loathe, right? You deal with them. Voluntarily. You deal with them. Listen, we're not going to play crazy either. We're not going to play crazy. You know the environment that those individuals come from. You know. You know who they are. You know their get down. You know how they move. And you know statistically or stereotypically how people who resemble him typically move and what their life outcomes tend to be. Right? But I'm going to lay it all out for you people tonight. Those men are there for somebody. They're there for a specific caliber of women. They match those women's characteristics to a T. Listen, ladies, here's what happened. Ray Rays and Pookies, they typically don't have a job. They typically don't have any life ambitions going for themselves. They have a sordid past, don't have any dreams or ambitions, live irresponsible and reckless lives. Children scattered out, possibly, right? And those men are there for the women whose characteristics match theirs. Just like movie stars tend to date other celebrities, Ratchets and Ray Rays and Pookies are supposed to lock in. But that's not what's happening. Here's what's happening. Something that nobody wants to admit. According to their characteristics and qualifications, these are lower tier men, pants sagging, smoking all day. But what happened that no one wants to admit? Women in high settings, middle class income, earning women, right? Women who tout how educated they are. They love them. They love them. Women who tout being middle class income earners. Women who tout being high six-figure earners. Love very low caliber men. They love them. But here's where the problem comes in. Is when those higher tier women start experiencing the pitfalls and setbacks that come with those men's characteristics and lifestyle traits. See, they found things that they can love about Ray Rays and Pookies. These men are mostly dysfunctional men who were raised by single parent moms. But what has these women strung out so bad? I teach people this regularly. And ladies, you need to pay attention. These women have fallen in love with the character traits of the Ray Rays and Pookies. Listen, they've fallen in love with the way they look, right? What these women can't seem to get over, the main thing that they're complaining about all over social media is the repercussions that tend to follow the lifestyle habits, the character traits that are associated with dysfunctional men. Ray Rays and Pookies. Listen, a lot of you don't understand what's going on. Women are wanting to play with these men without experiencing what comes with dealing with these men. Imagine that. Imagine that. I want the good things that come with them, right? But the bull crap, I want to X that out. It doesn't work like that, people. It simply does not work like that. No one's ever been able to get it to work like that. Listen, people. Let me see something. And that's why you're seeing a lot of people go round and round in circles. Relationship loops. That's why you're seeing this. Because women are trying to deal. Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. Fellas, I'm going to say it even to you. I do understand. Basically, what middle class women, the so-called educated women, what let's call them upper tier if we must. Let's call them that. What upper tier women have done is they went down to the bottom and started playing with men who actually, on paper, qualify for the ratchet ghetto women. The women who have multiple babies by multiple different men. The women who have allowed themselves to just let go, right? The women who are ghetto and ratchet. The women who are overly sexual, right? Middle tier women and upper tier women, they've become I'm not going to say attracted. They are absolutely crazy about lower tier men. They're crazy about lower tier men. These women who have allowed themselves, these men that these upper tier women are crazy about are on paper suitable for lower tier women. Do you see where the breakage is? We're going to get to it. We're going to get to it. If you listen to the characteristics of broken women, their characteristics closely line up with that of a Ray Ray or Pookie. Think about this. And those are the two who are supposed to be hooking up, right? Those are the two who are supposed to be dealing with each other. The ratchet ghetto chick and the Ray Rays and Pookies. But see, what has happened? Society based on turbulence, people. Women fell for the feminism movement, and based on the feminism movement, there was a great deal of children. Listen, you can go look this up. The chart, the graph, although it is a still shot, it almost resembles a storyboard. Not even a storyboard, it resembles a story. You can see the dip in the marital rate going down. 1955, when the so-called women's movement started, we know that it was the feminism movement. So many things went out the door. The marital rate dipped. The number of children born out of wedlock shot straight up. This graph, if you look at this graph, it tells the story. It tells the story. Around 1955, you started seeing arrows do that. And as it pertains to children born outside of wedlock, you started seeing the arrows do that. Right? So, when that happened, was the mark of when our society stopped producing middle class, masculine, and assertive men. And that thing that I just described, middle class, assertive men, those who handled that family business, those who had those households on lockdown, right? Those who were defenders, those who could put their ear to the hood of a car and say, nah, babe, I think it's those. We stopped producing those. That's what these middle tier or higher tier middle income bracket women would prefer to have. Successful, intelligent, working class men who have things but still have their assertiveness, masculinity, their masculine tenure intact, right? Single parent moms raising so many boys diminished the number of middle class upstanding men over the last 50 years. That's what we're dealing with right now. We're dealing with a drought in masculine men. A lot of the men who have nice jobs, who are the standard in society, they also have feminine, docile ways. A lot of them are letting, we're just going to say it, a lot of them are letting women run the household. A lot of these men, they're not that assertive. They don't necessarily resemble masculine energy. Where are the tough guy men at? These men don't know how to fix things. They don't have habits or hobbies that traditional masculine men used to participate in, right? Here's what has happened, people. Drum roll. Middle class women, the women who claim to be in higher settings, the women who claim to be high earners, the women who claim to be educated, These women have went down in standards in a quest to find masculine men. And they found them. They found them. That trait that they were looking for, masculinity. Shay White, from the moment that you came in, you've been pushing negative energy. The next one, I'm going to block you permanently. We don't need your type on here. This is only for women who want to hear information. And listen, anybody, I'll say this, anybody. Hey, King Buana, you see the slightest resemblance of intentional negative energy? Block them permanently. I'm going to interrupt myself and I'm going to say this to you people. And you guys are right. What's her name? Shay White. I want to send an apology your way. She said that's the point. So I want to send an apology your way. I misread what you were. But I don't, listen, I don't get off into the systematic thing. We know it exists, but it didn't affect the Jews like that. I just believe push through whatever. I don't believe in excuses to that extent. But listen, let me say this. Those women who tout being the most educated, those women who tout having higher earning power, those women who tout being sophisticated business women, they went down in standards in the quest to find masculine men, and they found them. They found that trait of masculine, assertive, and dominant energy inside dysfunctional, broken men. I teach people all of the time. This is real. Dysfunction can resemble masculinity. It can. And since we have come to a drought on all of it, because we do have a shortage of masculine, assertive men. But it's because our women started having so many children, minus the fathers. What would you expect, right? Young boys being raised by women. What would you expect? Okay, I get that. I'm going to say this. Ladies and gentlemen, where you're hearing all of these complaints all over social media, even in real life, where you're hearing these complaints come from as it pertains to women complaining about men, calling them ray-rays and pookies, right? These women went to the jungle to play and got upset when one of the animals bit them, which in reality was to be expected. You went to the jungle. You went to the jungle. These women have locked in and entangled with dysfunctional, broken men and expected middle-class masculine man outcomes. Why do you guys think you're hearing the repetitious jibber-jabber all across social media? They're getting a thing that the truth is they're supposed to be getting. I'll be honest. I have to interrupt myself. So wait, it's the woman's fault for the men being dysfunctional and broken? Please expound. We can touch that on two different levels. First and foremost, yes, the thing that you're complaining about, not your girlfriends because they're the same age as you, but your grandmothers, your aunties, and your great-grandmothers shot these broken men out of their vajayjays when they opted, girl, go on and get your education. Don't worry about no man because I don't want you to ever have to rely on no man. I'm not going to get too deep into this. Ma'am, get on the internet and research what happens when children are raised without a man, without a father. The studies name everything that you ladies are complaining about on social media. Yes. Children who are raised inside of a two-parent household are 5 times more likely to graduate college, 3 times more likely to be gainfully employed, 2 times less likely to go back and forth to jail. Yes, but now let's hit here. Again, she said, so wait, it's the women's fault for the men being dysfunctional and broken? Please expound. Now, here's where it's definitely your fault. Ma'am, it's your fault for dealing with them. Yes, it's your fault. No more, no less than it is my fault if I start dealing with a stripper and she gives me gonorrhea and I'm sitting up. How the hell did that happen? It was to be expected. It was to be expected. And I hope we're all in agreement with that. If you want to get to the tippy tip of it, the majority of these children, they're not coming from relationships. They're coming from smash sessions, and all of you ladies know it. We don't have to play this game. We know the statistics on it. We know why you're shooting the STD rates through the roof. You guys are having massive epidemic proportion levels of unprotected random casual sex. That's what's going on. All of the studies show, especially in the black community, men want relationships. Men want to be married. It's just that we are the only group of men who don't have a woman of our own. Our women are saying, I don't need no NIGGA. Right. Somebody said because women are, oh my God, I'm not going to get into that. But listen, I want you people to understand what we're experiencing right now. Women have fell in love with snakes and learned to get on social media and complain when they get bit. That's exactly what happened. You have no excuses. We all know what the man who is bad for a good life outcome looks like. We know. All of us know. He was me. And all of the women who dealt with me, they knew how I got down. They knew. I didn't even have to lie to them. They didn't even care if I was in a relationship. They wanted to rock with me because of who I was. There was never any guilt trip about me being in a relationship. They all knew that I was never leaving that woman, right? It's you. It's you. No, men bear no responsibility in getting you pregnant and leaving you with a child. No, they don't. See, because me, myself, I am responsible as to whether or not I start. I'm responsible for that. So I choose not to do it. My life, I am really responsible for my life outcome. I'm not putting that on no woman, nobody. See, because here's the crazy part. Let me make sure we're rocking heavy. When you start doing well in life, you don't blame that on the man. Right? That's the issue that we have at Bay. You blame it on men when it doesn't go well, right? But when it goes well, when you get that new promotion, when you graduate from college, you blame it on you. Right? You know we're on the same page. You know we're on the same page. You guys can't take the credit one way and not the other. It is up to you how your life turns out. If you're not giving a man the bragging rights to your promotion to that new $250,000 house you got, then why would you give a man the credit for you making the decision to have unprotected sex with a man? And listen, we're going to be, she said, men do the same things. I'm going to tell you, ladies, something that keeps you failing. Stop comparing yourself to men.